Right, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for coming back in. So today what I want to do is talk a little bit about the cost of Armada. It's particularly related to the new starter packs that we've seen along with the squadrons and some accessories. I've seen a lot of people complaining about the cost, the overall cost of the entry point to Armada. Now, the Armada, it's expensive. It's $100, starter. $100 starter is going to get you about halfway to a 400 point list. So yes, it's not a cheap game, but compare it to some other games. So with X-Wing, you have to buy a core set. The core set comes with a couple of ships in it, but they're Imperial and Rebel. And if you wanted to play, say, Galactic Republic, you're going to have to then buy a Galactic Republic starter, which is another $40. So you're up to $80 already. I'm not a big, X-Wing player, so I don't know how close that gets you to a competitive list, but you're probably going to have to buy a couple more ships before you can have a competitive list. That's my guess. So you're probably over the $100. Now, granted, you're probably at a full competitive, points point at that point, but it's still, relatively expensive. It's over $100. Star Wars Legion, $100 core set. You get two factions in it, unpainted, unassembled miniatures. And in order to get to a point where you have an 800 point Legion list, you're gonna need, at least 3 core sets worth. Most people aren't going to do that. They're going to get 1, maybe 2 core sets, and if they can, split them up and then have to buy other expansions and everything else. Plus you have to paint and assemble everything, which is part of the hobby that some people love. Some people don't so much. Armada comes with fully painted capital ships. You do, if you want to, have to paint the squadrons. But a lot of people like Armada and X-Wing because they come with fully painted miniatures and there's no requirement that you paint anything. Imperial Assault was a $100 core set. And what I'm getting at is here is, all miniature games are going to be expensive to get into. Now with Armada, yes, if you're a new player, it's going to be, if you want to get to a 400 point competitive list right away, you're going to have to get 2 of the new starters. If those are the 2 factions that you want to play. Or if one of those is the faction you want to play. And you're probably going to want the Squadron Pack, at least 1, maybe 2 of them. I don't think that that's going to be a requirement to get to the 400 points. You should be able to do it with just the 2 starters. Now, I want to quickly go through the costs of things just to show you that what you're getting in a starter is actually a relatively good value compared to buying ships individually. So I've brought up the FFG shop page for Armada. You can see here that the original core set was $100. Got 2 smalls and a medium, just like the new starters. So you're getting the same number of ships, but it's focused on a single faction. You're not having to buy 2 factions that are split halfway between in the core set. Here you're focusing on 1 faction. So that part of it is much better than the original core set. So you're already getting a benefit. Same cost, more value. Now, you're getting 2 small ships in the core set. So let's price out a couple of small ships. So we have CR90 was a $20 ship. The Nebulon B was a $20 ship. The Gladiator Star Destroyer, which is also technically a small ship, was $30. Now, I do think that the small ships that are included in the starters are more along the lines of the CR90 and the Nebulon B. So even though those prices are like 5 years old, and I do expect there to be some inflation, I wouldn't be surprised if new small ships start costing $25. We're going to go with $20 because that's what we have here. So now we're up to $40 of the 100. Then we need a medium ship. Now here we see we have a Victory class Star Destroyer. It was one of the ships in the original core set. It's a $40 ship. The Assault Frigate, which was a Rebel medium ship, it's actually the only Rebel medium ship, was $40. There's also the Interdictor, which is a medium ship, was $40. And then there was the Carrier, which was actually only $30. It was a little bit cheaper. But the two medium ships that we're getting in the two different starters, they're more similar to these $40 price point ships. So now we're up to $80 pretty quick. I mean, we're up to $80. You're also getting 4 squadrons. Those 4 squadrons, we have actually an updated price point. Original Squadron Packs were in the $20 range, but the new Squadron Packs for the new factions did get a little bit of a price bump. They're up to $25. And I think with inflation, it's reasonable. FFG needs. I mean, they're in the business to make money, not just to, provide us with a fun games, at no profit. So they need to make their money. So in that squadron pack, you're going to be getting 8 squadrons. Granted, it's 4 different types, but you're going to get 8 squadrons. You're getting 4 squadrons in the starter. So simple math, we divide that in half. So that's another $12.50. So we're up to $92.50. And for a veteran player like myself, that might be where you're going to stop adding things up. So yes, you're paying a $7.50 premium in order to get into the starters. But for a new player, there's a lot more value in the starter. You're getting dice. You're getting a movement tool. You're getting a range ruler. You're getting other tokens. You're also getting dials. And there are more dials in the starter than you need for the ships that are included in the starter. So that's because ships expansions going forward are not going to include dials like they have in the past. So obviously that's a cost savings to FFG. But because they're giving you extra dials, you should be okay for a little while. You're getting 10 dials, 8 speed dials is probably enough for almost any list. The 10 command dials, you'll have some lists that get more than that. If you go in for 2 starters, you'll have probably plenty of dials. You wouldn't even have to worry about the dial pack. And then you also get a damage deck. So the damage deck is the other big piece of value in there. I'm not going to talk about the other cards that you get in there in terms of the squadron cards, the ship cards, the upgrade cards, because those would have been included in the expansions as well. So, but you do get a damage deck, and the only way at retail to get a damage deck is either through the original core set or one of these starters. And even for a veteran player, there's value in that extra damage deck, because if you lose a card, you now have an invalid damage deck, and in order to replace that, you're going to have to go on someplace like eBay and probably spend about $20 in order to replace your damage deck. And so we could even add another $20 to the value of the core set. But in terms of things like dice for a new player, so we have our accessories here. So dice for a new player are going to cost $10. So that's another $10. So we're going, if we do the $20 for damage deck plus $10 for the dice, then we have another $8 for maneuver tool. Add that to the $92.50. Let's lop off the 50 cents, and we're up to $130. Hopefully you're going to be able to avoid the cost of the dial pack, or at least, so, but let's not say fully, so let's say another $10, so we're up to $140. Plus you're getting tokens and other things in there that you're going to need to play the game. So really there is value in the starters, especially for a new player. Players like myself, not so much. I don't need more dice. I don't need maneuver tools. But let's say you're a new player and you wanted to get 2 of the starters. You're going to get enough dice to for almost any attack. There are some corner cases where you could get 7, maybe 8 red dice out of an attack. With 2 starters, you're going to have 6. But that's really a corner case. It's not common. You're going to get 2 movement tools, and what a lot of veteran players like to do if they get extra movement tools is they'll break them down into shorter segments. So if you had 2, you can break one down and make it only a 2-segment movement tool. So if you have a ship going only speed 2, you're not going to bump as much other things on the table by using a shorter length movement tool. If you're going speed 2 and you're just using one of these, you have this big tail, this big segment here that is just knocking things around in front of your ship, or you have to back this up in order to be able to use it. So for a new player, there's value in the extra movement tool. And like I said, there's value in having an extra damage deck as well. So I think there's tremendous value in these starters, especially for new players. So what I'm going to suggest is, if you're interested in the game, place a pre-order with your local game store. It's great to support them, especially in these times of the pandemic, because they're hurting a little bit too. Place the order. A lot of times they'll have a good discount, or if they don't, they might have a customer rewards program like the store that I shop at does, in order to increase the value of what you're purchasing or decrease your purchase price. And then if they're able to do it, see if they'll let you make installments up until December. So, if you're getting one, make a $20, $25 payment per month towards your purchase. And then by the time December comes, either you've already paid for it or you have a minimal leftover balance that you're going to have to pay. And the one-time hit to your wallet doesn't feel quite so bad. You're still paying the same amount. But that's what I would suggest. I hope you are looking forward to the game. I do have a couple of suggestions and some things to look out for that you might want to purchase before December. I'll do another video for that. I'm also going to be doing some learn to play videos, which I'm going to try and break down into 10-minute segments and then link them together through cards at the end of the videos. So if you're interested in learning how to play Armada, you'll be able to learn there. If you like the video, if it's helpful to you, please consider subscribing. It's helpful for me to know that people are interested and that my videos have some value to you. I'm not trying to make any money. I'm just trying to do this to expand the Armada universe. So thank you very much. Keep Armadaing, and we'll see you next time.